Hello, Steve White for Steve Arts 89. This is a little sad and kind of interesting. A guy on Twitter, Jack Beers, put up a bunch of posts with Google searches over time, and they looked at many things. This is mostly an article to criticize Discovery because, wow, look at it. We look at the searches for Star Trek in 2009, and then 4 years later for Star Trek Into Darkness, and then Star Trek Beyond, and Star Trek Discovery Season 1, and Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Right in the 8 years, you can see how the searches have gone, and I'm not sure if this is counted in thousands, but from 100 down to about, I don't know, 10 or 15,000 or percent or something. I don't know exactly where he got this from, so I haven't had a look at them myself. I don't exactly know what the measurements are, but obviously you can see there's a huge decline. Now, a while ago, there was an article from Parrot Analytics, probably more than one article, but they were saying that Star Trek Discovery was the most, was getting a lot of attention online, and they weren't distinguishing between, I was going to say most searched, but they weren't saying it was most searched, but it was getting a lot of attention online, a lot of clicks, a lot of tweets, a lot of retweets, a lot of traffic, but they didn't distinguish between good and bad. So, and they were saying that meant popular. So 100,000 people saying it was crap and we hated it and it was a disgrace to Star Trek, or whatever the critics were saying or the haters were saying, that would all get counted along with the people saying they love it and they want to watch it, and apparently that meant it was popular because it was being talked about. Well, just because it's being talked about doesn't mean it's in a positive light. So that's the last thing I heard about Star Trek Discovery so far as trending or searches or attention or validation by the internet, basically. And now we're looking at something like this, which sort of shows that it doesn't even appear to be, but I guess this is just searches. So they weren't commenting on that. So yes, it looks at searches are declining and that doesn't contradict it. And then he looked at a few other things, which is interesting. He looked at the difference between searches for Star Trek The Next Generation and Discovery in the same time period. As you can see, searches for Star Trek The Next Generation, which is a series that's been off the air for 23 years? Is that it? Yeah, something like that. It ended in 1994. 25 years. It's been off the air for 25 years. And it's getting more searches than Discovery, which is currently not on the air, but it's on Netflix. It's it's in production. And then he had a bit of fun and looked at SpongeBob SquarePants compared to the interest in Discovery for the same period. So now he's just making fun of it, which I don't blame him because it's kind of laughable if this is all true. Now, I saw this through Mecca Random's video and through her posting it on Twitter, and then I looked at his Twitter. So, yeah, it's a bit sad. And now, of course, this makes perfect sense. We've got the comparison of the Orville over season 1 and 2 compared to Discovery, and as you can see, there's a lot more interest in the Orville than Discovery, and I'm pretty sure that's true. I know myself, when I was posting videos, I would get more views for my Orville videos reviews than Discovery, and probably the biggest most amount of views I got for any of my videos was the two-parter where I'm even forgetting all the names, where Isaac turned on the crew, and it was a two-parter where his people took over the Orville and blah blah blah. That two-parter got a lot of attention. It got a lot of people excited. there wasn't anything similar, comparable with Discovery in my experience. And I have seen the differences where I'll post a video on Discovery and no one cares. I'll post a video on Doctor Who or Star Wars or something else, and it'll get twice as many. Even though I don't have a lot of viewers, I don't get a lot of views. I don't have a lot of subscriptions, I don't get a lot of views. Because I had a channel before that I'd started up, I'd only been running for a few months. I had 1,000 viewers, subscribers. It was deleted because someone false flagged me on some videos, probably because I went against Captain Marvel and was basically, yeah, I think I got sort of caught up with some of the bots and all that sort of stuff, people trolling and false flagging people that were criticizing films and things they didn't like. So my new channel doesn't have anywhere near as many subs. I don't even have 100 at the moment. So I don't get a lot of views, but I still was getting more views for anything than Discovery. The reason why I criticized it was not because I got a lot of views or I got a lot of attention, but just because that's what I'm thinking about and what I care about. So that's why I make my videos. I don't just make videos I think are going to be popular, because I don't care. So that's not a surprise, the Orville comparison. Then they did a comparison with The Last Jedi, and it's funny how The Last Jedi peaks and then dies, and that's when it matches Discovery, when it's dead and there's no interest in it at all. And this one's just mean. A bag of mouldy cheese compared to Discovery. I don't know, he's just having fun with it, and it is funny. But it's also a bit sad that Star Trek, the attention to Star Trek is that low. And Star Trek Discovery cancelled. This is interesting. There was a peak interest in that because there was talk after, at different points that Discovery was cancelled. There was gossip and rumours that it was not being renewed for a second season or third season, or they had renewed it for the third season but they didn't have the funding to actually make the show because Netflix had walked away, and all this sort of gossip. And apparently at least one of those got a pretty big spike for people searching for Star Trek Discovery cancelled. So it's just a sad state of affairs when you look at things like this and you see how it has not captured an audience. It hasn't kept the Star Trek audience. It hasn't found its own audience, and it's just running on the good name of Star Trek. And it's a bit sad. I assume this is accurate now. I don't have any of my own facts. I'm saying this is coming from someone else that I saw posted in someone else's video that I just found interesting, and I just wanted to talk about it. I'm not saying this is totally accurate. It could just be someone having fun, but if you've been following Star Trek Discovery and you've been a fan of Star Trek for a while, you can see, that this is true in real life. That I've met fans of Star Trek Discovery who watched it the first time it aired, haven't watched it since, don't have any merchandise, don't buy anything, barely talk about it. I've seen Star Trek fans who have sort of continued on, but the same sort of Star Trek fans who like Star Wars, and they don't really get Star Trek. They don't like the original Star Trek, and they prefer Deep Space Nine over the other Star Treks, which is more like Discovery because it's very anti-Star Trek. It's more about war and conflict and de-evolved, unevolved human beings in society, as opposed to the evolved human beings that Gene Roddenberry created for Star Trek and for the Starfleet and for our utopian future ideals that he created. They don't really care about that, so it's not surprising. But I'm going to leave it there. Just an interesting little thing that, assuming this is true, it's kind of sad that Discovery has sparked such little interest, and I'm not surprised because the original Star Trek, it excited people. It gave them something to look forward to, somewhere they wanted to be. They wanted to be in that future. They wanted to be on that ship. They wanted to be friends with Captain Kirk and on his adventures. No one wants to be with Michael Burnham in the Discovery verse, bitching and whining, and just no one wants to be in that world. And the people who do, they never wanted to be in the Star Trek world anyway, because they're more than happy to wallow in the mud that is our current society and drama, and that's what Discovery does. It brings Star Trek down to our level, trying to appeal to the majority of people who don't have the imagination or the ability to envision a future like Gene Roddenberry created and believe in it and conceive of it. And that's really the saddest thing. But I'm going to leave it there. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment. Bye.